So from management to, if you remember, I noticed our primary endpoints would be intraocular pressure, and the next endpoint would be visual field. So even if your pressures are down where you think it is all right, there are some times when we are wrong. In fact, most of the times we are wrong. And when we realize that what we thought 16 pressure was okay, but the chap is still deteriorating on his visual fields, and then you're in trouble. Sometimes you think, oh, he's got such advanced glaucoma, his pressure should be 12, but no matter what, his pressure doesn't come down below 18, and yet you look at his fields and nothing is happening to them. So they're both sides of the spectrum, but I'll just put in some top scenarios for errors in the real world situation, and let's see what we did about them. Now, one is you could have a visual field defect with no organic pathology, and that's the commonest thing. The main problem is the test is not properly given. It's not the patient's fault. It is that we as clinicians, as technicians, as healthcare professionals do not give the test properly enough. And the second is the patient does not understand how to take it no matter what we do. The second scenario is you could have a visual field defect, but it's not glaucoma. Because remember, a visual field defect would occur with any problem with the visual pathway. It is unlikely that it's going to be glaucoma all the time. So please remember, for the young postgraduates, visual field defect does not equal to glaucoma and does not equal to refer to glaucoma clinic. You as an ophthalmologist need to see why that defect is and whether it is glaucoma to the exclusion of everything else. The third is there is disease, but there's no visual field defect as yet, which means very early glaucoma, which the field doesn't even know. So these are the top scenarios where visual field interpretation would be very, very important. So mistake number one is a lack of understanding, as we said. Now, for an example, this 62-year-old woman has been coming to us for about 3 to 4 years. Somebody's put her on Timolol. The fields are advanced defects repeatedly, but pressures are 16 and 15. So what is the problem? So continue your Timolol and you're fine and nothing is progressing. The problem is, this is what her discs look like. So now as somebody treating glaucoma, you should have a problem with those fields, because discs like this should not translate into the kind of fields that she's giving us. 1 year back, till 1 year back, she was like that. And we get new toys, and even the new toys tell us that she's okay. So now you start thinking something must be really wrong, and you sit her down and really, really explain, and the fields at the bottom are the ones which she finally comes out with. So this is absolutely a normal lady who's just been putting a drug which has so many side effects for so many years, simply because nobody's been able to sit her down and tell her what to do with that machine. Sometimes you get incredible learning curves. Now this 46-year-old woman again referred for glaucoma, suspicious discs, normal IOP, but these are the fields, and these are too bad. You can't have fields like this and a disc like this. Okay, they are large. Okay, the cups are a little large, fine, but look at the neuroretinal rim. Look at the retinal nerve fiber layer, it's fine. And I've taken a snapshot of the clinic file where somebody has written both eyes, advanced defects, central fixation spared, progression positive, but not commensurate. So I'm happy that some resident has at least looked at the disc and has labeled that not commensurate and has referred it to the consultant that this doesn't make sense. Why should she have field defects like that? Then the visual field continues to be bad, and nothing that we could do could make her do a field better. 2010, 2011, even the 10-2 continues to be bad, and that's the HRT. And the HRT shows you very, very large discs, if you remember, and large cups. Finally, after much time spent explaining, in 2013, we finally got fields which I thought, or we thought, were commensurate with the discs. Repeated that annually. These are the last ones in 2015. And just to show you on the GPA, look at that learning curve. It starts off right at the bottom, and finally when she understands it, look where it goes up. So that's why I've labeled her an incredible learning curve. Usually the learning curve is not like this, but you could have some people who are weird enough not to give you fields no matter what you do, and then one fine day they'll have a eureka moment and they'll give you fields like this. So don't give up on them. That's the only thing, and be rational in what you're doing. Now, this 40-year-old woman has cups like this, temporal pallor. I wish this was a normal teaching class, because I'd have picked up postgraduates and said, tell me what is this, but I can't do that here. So pressures are fine, discs are large, remember there is temporal pallor. Temporal pallor should be a red herring that something is going on, but she has visual field defects, so refer to glaucoma clinic. Okay. Now this woman has Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. Take this home as a take-home message. If you have temporal pallor and low vision, normally that's not glaucoma. And if you do an OCT, you will see the temporal parts of the OCT are reaching the floor. So if the temporal parts of the OCT are reaching the floor, it is not glaucoma. In glaucoma, the peaks are going to be flattened. So you can see the temporal of each is absolutely red and the superior and inferior is green. If you see this pattern on the OCT, put it in your head, this is not glaucoma, this is Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, right? So that's what she had and the VEP corroborates it. Now this 72-year-old hypertensive, 612, 624 vision, again normal pressures, open angles. The discs are like this and these are what the fields are like. So again I would like to pick up somebody, but I'll just tell you that the problem with this field is there are visual field defects, but it is respecting the vertical midline. Glaucoma does not respect the vertical midline. You cannot have an axonal layer which is damaged till the vertical midline and suddenly gets normal. Glaucoma cannot behave in that manner. So the fact that this was respecting the vertical midline makes you refer it to the neurologist or a neurosurgeon. And then this large pituitary adenoma sitting there. So he underwent a transsphenoidal excision, and surprisingly, which doesn't usually occur, this was just compression and not atrophy. So once the pituitary was out, as you can see from the bottom, the visual fields get better again. So look at the visual fields, interpret them and manage them. Visual field defects does not translate to being a glaucoma. The next take-home message from here, if it is respecting vertical midline, it is not glaucoma. Have your red herring up. Now this 60-year-old woman diagnosed glaucoma, again referred, large cup disc ratios and a visual field defect, ergo glaucoma. But you see these large things here, the field defect again is a little weird. 1 quadrant and 3 quadrants normal. Again, something could tell you, no, something is wrong. And the thing that is wrong is that this is undilated disc evaluation and nothing else. So when you dilate her, what do you see up there? You see scattered laser scars and a CRVO up there, superotemporally, which has translated to inferonasal field defects. Look at the retina. If you're going to kill the retina in 1 quadrant, those RGCs are never going to see. So that area is what has come up as an inferonasal defect, and this has nothing to do with glaucoma at all. The atrophy is because the RGCs have atrophied where you have lasered it. So it's an iatrogenic field defect. So this little boy was diagnosed with IRVAN again. He's complained of keratoconjunctivitis on topical steroids, high pressures, 42, and started on 3 drugs. At presentation, his pressures are 12 on all of this. And he looked by and large healthy discs, except that the right eye was a little pale. But then he had IRVAN, and he had fields like this. So something should tell you that a disc like this does not explain a field like this, even if he has a little bit of pallor. The next thing you should connect it, if he has IRVAN, he must have had vascular abnormalities, and he has to have, again, peripheral laser scars. So dilate it, look at the periphery again, and if you're careful enough, this is what you'll see. So the central 30 degrees is absolutely normal, but the minute you dilate it and look at the periphery, he has PRP scars all around, and that is going to give you field defects like that, but certainly not for glaucoma. So this is one of my nice patients where I'm so happy because the machines don't know what I do. So the HRT says he's normal, and I can see his RNFL defect. Can you see the RNFL defect on the inferior? Can you see that superotemporal black thing? So you diagnose an RNFL defect down there, and the HRT tells you it's normal, and it gives you a real kick when a machine doesn't pick up something that you do and your clinical skill does. It's picked up nicely on the OCT. Can you see that red thing there? Because the OCT is measuring retinal nerve fiber layer and the HRT is measuring disc. So can I take 10 seconds? Right, so the HRT is measuring disc, so it hasn't picked up this very early RNFL defect, which you picked up, and you did the HRT, and then you said, no, you do the OCT and come. So you ask for investigation according to what you see. So the HRT was normal, we asked for an OCT, and we asked for a field, and even the field doesn't know he has glaucoma. So the visual field doesn't know he has glaucoma, the HRT doesn't know he has glaucoma, the only one who knows is me, and I have ordered an OCT, and then the OCT says, okay, you may be right, he does have an RNFL defect. But this is somebody who I would follow up very, very carefully, because it's a small RNFL defect, it's a red herring, his pressures are normal as yet, I'm not going to start treatment now, but I'm just going to watch it. But this is one case where you have disease, but the field hasn't picked it up as yet. Okay, there are philosophies as to whether you would treat this if the pressure is 18, would you treat this if the pressure is 24, would you treat this if the pressure is 12? And for that I invite you to come to Palampur in November, and you'll see lots of debates on what to do about this. So we'll let that go for now. So another thing to know that in larger discs, HRT picks up better and the fields are normal. So for large discs, the HRT, in a large disc, the HRT will tell you everything is glaucoma. The HRT cannot differentiate a physiologically large cup from a glaucomatous clump. So if you have a large cup like this in a large disc, the HRT will always say it's glaucoma, but look at the fields, they're still normal. So what about the visual fields in advanced glaucoma? Just to wind up, sometimes you have really, really advanced glaucomas, you follow them up on the 10-2 because the 24-2 gives you nothing. The HRT of course shows up glaucoma, and sometimes even the 10-2 is over, there's nothing, no information, so you go on to a macular threshold. Now what if the pattern deviation is, now that's a top error. Then the disc is so bad, but the pattern deviation is normal. The pattern deviation, remember, in the older visual field machine will be normal because the entire field is depressed and the pattern deviation only looks at irregularities in sensitivity. So it looks at bumps in the hill, but it's not going to pick up a generalized depressed glaucomatous field which is so depressed that even after correcting for the field, nothing happens. So the mean deviation is all black, the gray scale is all black, but the pattern deviation is normal. And in the newer visual field machines, the pattern deviation does not come. The message comes that pattern deviation not computed because of generalized depression. But be very careful, if you have a disc like this and you have a normal pattern deviation, it does not mean that the fields are normal, it only means that it's very, very, very depressed. We need to monitor somebody like this closely on the macular threshold, and sometimes, lo and behold, even they get better, and now she's even started giving us 10-2 fields where initially was nothing. So you just need to monitor them as best as you can. Remember, structural tools are absolutely useless for advanced glaucomas because it's a functional loss which comes up faster and tells you that something is going on. So don't rely on HRT and OCTs for very, very advanced glaucomas, they're of no use at all. So to conclude, visual field assessment is crucial to diagnosis as well as follow-up. Standardized automated perimetry is to be used for standardization and objectivity. But the biggest limitation is patient subjectivity, and remember, even the fields, the HFA is a machine at the end of the day. Interpretation should always, always follow clinical diagnosis and never vice versa. Thank you.